Time is 5:04 p.m. Eastern. Hope everyone's doing well. None is financial advice. Please treat your own risk. Okay, so we're going to talk about ES and BTC as usual. To get right into it with ES, we did get a slight pullback today. Nothing substantial though, like the market pullback as a whole, but we did make a new all-time high, and it's still forming a series of higher lows. In regards to the count that I have here on the lower degree, I don't have a solid count yet, just because of the fact that in terms of just getting a solid count within here on the way up, I'm really just waiting to see when we would get a top and then the type of pattern we would get on the way down. Basically, looking to see where we would get an actual pullback, if that were the case, right? Or it's just going to be shallow and we just continue to melt up towards 42 to 4,300. Price already went up to 140, basically 41.40, but obviously found some resistance here. So essentially what I'm looking for though in the short term is that as long as it can sustain above the 41.02 spot 5, really I'm just keeping it simple. I'm just looking for further upside in the short term. If it gets below that, then I'm looking for 4,075 spot 75, and then I would just assess it from there on the lower time frame, what to expect. We do have earnings season now, so that is an added variable that will create a lot of volatility, especially with major movers within individual sectors, let alone the FANG stocks, right? It will affect the S&P. So we really just need to play around the volatility and just take it, as safe as possible, risk averse, capital preservation, while still trying to, obviously, realize gains. But you just want to be a little bit more strategic and agile with it because of the amount of news events that we're going to have over the next, few weeks, right? So just be very mindful of that, and I think everyone's going to be fine. We do know that the trend is to the upside. The market is melting up, right? So we do know what the directional bias is in the short term, the intermediate time frame, and the higher time frame, the macro, okay? So these are the key things that everyone just needs to make a note of and, just basically work around the news and should be fine. Yeah, and again, in terms of the count itself, to determine where would a wave 4 be, right, of a larger degree, and then the fifth, I'm just waiting to see where, if there is a top that would come in, because right now it's not confirmed whatsoever, right? I mean, we've had drops like that, and then they just recover the next day and make a new all-time high. So until then, I'm just playing the momentum essentially and just keeping it as simple as possible. So I hope that makes sense for everybody. Keep it simple, stupid. That's basically the name of the game. And as things accelerate to the upside, and depending on how the market conditions progress, we can reevaluate the direction on each of the time frames as such, or as it comes along, right? So yeah, that's basically it in a nutshell. I'm just looking for further upside. In short, I have the support here at 41.02 spot 5, as well as 4,075 spot 75. And then just keep in mind too that earnings is coming up, so expect a lot of short-term volatility coming in. We have some of the banks coming up as well, right? So I'm very keen to see how that'll go. And then I believe it's the 24th or the 26th is, around like Tesla. And then we'll also have Apple coming up and all the other FANG stocks too. So just throw those on your calendar as well and you'll be fine, okay? Let's pivot over to Bitcoin just to keep it simple. And again, the higher time frame, looking for 42 to 4,300. So, here. And I hope everyone's having a good week too. Just wanted to say that. All right. So here on BTC, okay? So we had some news coming out with Coinbase. Now it's publicly traded at an absurd valuation. I'm not even going to talk about that. Also, too, I don't plan on trading it. There's no historical data to work off of it. So any trading for that, in the short term is pure speculation. So I'd rather just wait before, jumping into that at all, right? And you can just trade the the blockchain stocks if you want that, or the payment processing companies, like Square, PayPal, all those too, right? Basically, if you're looking for proxies for cryptos, okay, that can also be an option that you guys can explore. but now just going into BTC, the 60K mark for me is support. So as long as it sustains above that, I'm really just looking for a continuation, and not just like a wick below, but if it's like a strong close underneath 60 that'll signal a reversal, then yes, we can talk about lower prices, meaning like 57K, somewhere around there, 58, and then just take it as is. I'm not looking for a seismic, drop or pop in the meantime. I'm just sticking with the technicals for now. And all I care about in the short term is $60,000. So again, as long as it can really sustain above that, I am looking for price to continue to the upside for BTC, closer towards $100,000, give or take 10 grand, as mentioned previously. And that's really it. So I'm keeping it as simple as possible. I don't think it needs to be overcomplicated. And again, it's similar ideas to the S&P, is that we know the higher time frame is bullish, we know the intermediate is bullish, and the lower time frame is still technically bullish because it did make a new all-time high and it went up to 65K. So I'm being very mindful of this, and I wouldn't just arbitrarily short this over news or whatever, right? I would just simply observe it and then just take it as such. We also have a lot of congestion here as well, right? Meaning that we have a lot of price action underneath that could act as support, and even if it doesn't, it would simply fall back into the range and we would just reevaluate the price action from there. So again, I'm taking it at a very, very simple approach. There's only one level I care about, and I'm acknowledging what the direction is. Sure, we had the news about Coinbase and stuff, but to be completely honest, I can care less about it because I'm sticking with the technicals. And in terms of that impact that it would have on BTC, I think is much more speculative and subjective than it would be for anything else, right? I could come up with other scenarios like Tesla's earnings coming up and what BTC, how it would react, right, due to that, because they have it now on the balance sheet, the $1.5 billion purchase. Okay, so there's plenty of things that we can talk about in regards to fundamentals, but at the end of the day, I much rather would stick with the technicals because it's very consistent, right? Especially with cryptocurrencies, very, very consistent with technical analysis, aside from the wicks and the illiquid altcoins, right? S coins and all that. So obviously, it creates, the liquidity, right? You get the wicks and all that, good stuff. But generally, though, I'm just kind of taking it as is, right? So I hope that makes sense. If you guys do have any questions, feel free to drop a comment below the video, and I will try to get back to you as soon as possible there. And again, I hope everyone's having a great week, a good trading week, all that good stuff. And I look forward to speaking to you guys in the next video. It'll be out later this week. It'll be Friday. There's no point in doing it tomorrow because that'll be Thursday. So we'll do it for Friday, okay? So again, have a great day, and I look forward to speaking to you guys soon, okay? So take care and bye-bye.